Hello, I'm back again, and as you can see, the cat's almost done. I'm down to the last two colors, and there's a couple of things I wanted to mention. Number one, I ran out of bobbin. When you see this much fill, and I had a full bobbin, you're going to go through a lot of bobbin. So if you run out of bobbin without paying attention, you're going to have to use that back button. And which I did. I had to use the back button to get it to go again. I also want to say you can always remove while you're doing a project. Just don't move around the material inside the hoop, as long as you're careful about that. I want to say too, on this, let me get a good shot. You see there's a plate here, and the teeth of the embroidery unit go in between the plastic carrier and that metal. If you get it on top, you might end up pushing this plastic unit all the way inside. Well, you want to think of the embroidery unit as kind of like a printer. So it's kind of like, this is like a printer cartridge, you know, it's going back and forth. Instead of writing with ink, it's here controlling the sewing with thread. So you're printing in thread, theoretically. So you want to make sure that that goes right and that you click it in. It's hard for me to do with one hand. There we go. And how you know it's in is you see this little metal tooth. It clicks in there. To remove it, you push this and that moves that out of that. And you can pull it, slide it out. Okay? So that's how that works. I also wanted to make a comment about the top. This is a nice big spool holder. And if you're going to use cones like I do, this is like, I think 2,000 yards of thread. And this is embroidery thread. So it looks like rayon. But it's not. It's polyester. It's much less expensive, and it functions just as well as rayon. And the brand I use is CTS. You can get it on eBay. It's California Thread and Supply Company, and it is a U.S. company, which I like buying United States. So, and they're in California. And so if you use this, you just need to make sure that nothing tangles, so that nothing holds up the thread. The thread has to come off evenly and smoothly. And so you can either use this or you can use a thread holder external, which is usually what I use because I have all sizes. This is actually my smallest spool. Now if I use this in here, I do not use the thread holder because you don't want anything tangling this thread. So I just leave it laying in there like that, and it'll come out nicely. And when you thread around, one thing I'm going to make a comment about. This piece here, you know, it's old plastic. So you want to make sure that it's pushed down, and then the thread will go in the right area when you bring it around. So it threads through here. This is a tension. And then there's a tension spool down here as well. So there's two tensioners. And it goes through here, around here, down and up, and then around. Okay? And then you put it through this thread keeper. And then this is your automatic threader. I want to make another comment. This machine never stops with the thread or with the needle all the way up. Okay, so when you go to thread, the first thing you need to do is go to the balance wheel and pull up the needle so it's the highest it'll go before you attempt this, because you can actually bend the little, it's like a little hook that goes through the needle and hooks the thread. It's pretty self-explanatory. It's hard for me to show you with one hand. But see, this comes through and it rotates forward. And so you want to bring the thread through. There's two little grooves. You see a big groove and a small groove right in the middle of those. And that's where you bring the thread through. Anyway, you guys, I'm sure there's videos to watch, but I wanted to show you. You put down the another thing I want to make a comment about, to keep the tensioners working properly, because there are electronics in there. Always snip your thread here and pull it out at the needle. Don't drag it back through the machine unless you absolutely have no choice, which means you can't reach a thread. It cut up inside here. Then you have no choice. Make sure the needle's up so that the tension is loosened and you can pull it backwards. But you want to try never to pull your thread backwards through the machine, if you can help it. Okay, so I'm going to resume, and then I'll be back in a minute. I also want to make another comment. It gets noisier the more material that this needle has to go through in order to sew. So since it's going through many layers, sometimes it can sound like, oh, something wrong, but it's not. It's just the needle pressuring through all those layers. That's why you always want to use a fresh needle about every 8 hours or so of doing. Now I chose to do white claws, even though on the card it shows black. Same with the whiskers. I went with white whiskers because I'm doing a blonde cat. And blonde cats don't have black whiskers. And they don't have black paws. Well, I don't know of any cat that has black paws. Unless it's colored in. You know, like a calico. Sometimes they do, or a black cat. But anyway, I've got one more color, which is going to be the bow. Okay, so here it is finishing up. And I wanted to... Oh, hold on. The thread broke, so I've got to rethread. Okay, so it finished up. You can see what it does when it finishes the very last stitch here. It comes out to the outside, puts a little basting stitch, and then goes back to the center of the thing. And it's completely done. That's how you know it's done. It always makes that stitch away from the design. So you know there are no more stitches. Now, as I've been doing this project, I have been trying to clip, oops, I need to put up the presser foot. I have been trying to clip all of the jump stitches. So you can see, isn't it pretty? A pretty final product next to just the outline. And I'm going to ship this with your machine, because then you can see what the quality of these stitches. Actually, I was wrong earlier. I said it was made in Taiwan. It wasn't made in Taiwan. It was made in Japan by the Juki manufacturer. So it is a top-notch. I mean, the stitches are gorgeous. Does it beautiful. And this is just a simple little kitty cat. And yet it's very nice, high quality sewing. Well, that's it for this video. I'm at 8 minutes, and so I'll do a final video showing everything that comes with your new sewing machine. Thank you. Bye.